Well, good morning and welcome to the walk-off, everybody. I'm Scott Belford, normally joined by Adam Mack. A little bit of a programming change here. So I'm actually at a wedding in Montana as we speak, doing a quick little intro here for our interview with Damiano Palmegiani. And that will be the Friday episode. Adam and I were going to try and put one together, but Adam woke up really sick today, and I only have a slight window where I can get this done. So we're just going to release the Damiano Palmegiani interview instead. This is, of course, a gentleman who has risen up the ranks of this Toronto Blue Jays system over the last year and a half. He's Canadian and has a heck of a story. He played in the WBC and just a really good kid. He's all the way up to Buffalo at this point. He's been hitting some bombs with the Bison since getting called up, and is honestly a dude to keep your eye on, especially with this team needing a third baseman going into the next season. I'm not saying that he's going to compete at the level of Addison Barger or a Aralvis Martinez, but definitely a guy to keep your eye on. Enjoy the interview, and we'll be back at it next week as usual. Take care, everybody. Cheers.
We are very excited to be joined by today's guest, third baseman in the Toronto Blue Jays organization, currently manning the hot corner for the Buffalo Bison, Damiano Palmegiani. Welcome to the walk-off, buddy. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
Buddy, I love in the Instagram, you've got what's funny is I didn't even see this emoji as Italian until I saw it with your name, but you've got the hands like this, and I'm like, oh man, that is a very Italian emoji that I didn't even realize.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the emoji. I think I saw it on I don't even remember. I think it was like a soccer picture or something like that with some soccer player who has an Italian name, and I'm like, that's
Right, and you're
funny.
like, that's perfect.
That's funny. I'm gonna steal it. No one's gonna know I stole it, and they're gonna think that I thought of it on my own.
Brilliant.
Well,
Yeah.
you're giving yourself away here. But to start with, buddy, honestly, man, just a huge congratulations to you on getting your call up to AAA, and on top of that, performing pretty admirably over those first 15 games.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been fun, and yeah, I'm loving every second of it.
Damiano, is there a difference between the AA facilities and the AAA facilities? Like, were there ever a moment where you're like, "Oh, this is nicer," or is the minors the minors?
I think it's a lot nicer at all levels than it's given credit for. But Buffalo, because of I believe it was the 2021 season, that the Blue Jays had to play, in Buffalo for a little while. All the facilities that were already really nice, they had to be like bumped up to major league standard. So they did get it does feel like a big league clubhouse in there, big league facilities and everything. So I would say that's definitely the nicest I've been in so far. But New Hampshire is New Hampshire's getting better every year, and they're renovating and everything. So definitely Buffalo does have that big league feel to it. But I think the minor leagues is a little nicer than it gets credit for sometimes. But obviously, I can't say the same about everywhere, but you know how it goes.
Well, you know what it is? I think it's funny because we had David Schneider on the show a couple weeks ago, and he was just talking about. I asked him a similar question, but just for the majors, and his response was literally like, everything. There's no comparison. It's just like night and day, way better here.
Yeah. That's what I hear. Like whenever we ask someone who's had time, we're like, hey, how is it? They're like, everything you can imagine and more. And their eyes are like wide open, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's serious, I guess. I'm like, it looks pretty nice in here. What are we talking about? And he's like, no.
There you go, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I am based in Calgary. Adam's based in Edmonton, and you got a little Berta in you as well, buddy. I know that you spent some time at the Vauxhall Academy.
Yes, sir. I was there from 2015 to 2018. Last 3 years of high school in Vauxhall, Alberta.
So you too have the knowledge available to you to make fun of Red Deer and get laughs out of people in Alberta.
That's funny. Yeah, actually, I know a guy from Red Deer that I played with out there, and we would mess around with him a lot. So it's funny you said that.
When you got the call up to AAA, did it take you by surprise a little bit, or did you kind of see it coming?
I guess like all year you're kind of performing at a level where you can put yourself in a position where you can get called up, and I wouldn't say I'm never expecting anything. I don't just expect things to happen, but I had kind of that hope that near the end of the year, as the rosters would expand, that maybe there'd be an opportunity to fill in up there, and
Because you were feeling good about your season, right?
yeah. I knew I was doing controlling what I could control. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I was
Yeah.
showing improvement in some things and showing that I'm working on some things. So and yeah, and then so when it happened, I just had that feeling of satisfaction that I really did feel like I gave the double A level kind of everything I had,
Mhm.
and that it was time to move on. So yeah, that's kind of where my thoughts on that were. Like I did everything that I feel I could, and then at the end of the day, it wasn't my decision, so I just had to wait for that to happen.
Is it difficult to keep in that mindset that you can only do what you can do and show what you can show, and the rest is out of your control, and you just got to go kind of limp and let it happen? Like, do you struggle with that, or is that just like you just block out everything and just hope for the best?
Absolutely. I think any baseball player you talk to, that's something that we work on, like with the mental coaches or mental game is being where your feet are at. You know what I mean? And enjoying. It's cliche, but enjoying the process, trusting the process. All that is very real stuff. That's why it's cliche, because you hear it all the time. But it's very real stuff, and yeah, like I wouldn't say go limp and just like not care about anything going on around you, but I would say just like put your energy into your present, because your present is beautiful always. You know what I mean? And if you keep looking ahead or looking back, like what's going on right now is just going to pass you by, and you would have never enjoyed what you're doing. So
Well, I think it's safe to say that 2023 has been a hell of a present for you to be in, dude, because you have had a wild year, honestly. And right out of the gate in spring training, I know when we were first going to talk to you, you just got announced that you were actually got the call to Team Canada to be in the World Baseball Classic tournament. Not bad for a kid who was just tossing the ball around Central Alberta only a few years back, and now you were suiting up with Freddie Freeman. What was that experience like?
it was awesome. It was as we were getting close to the tournament, I knew they were trying to figure out rosters. I knew my name was in the mix, and it was funny. I got the same call from the guy, the coach, Greg Hamilton, who coached me when I was on the U18 Team Canada, the
Oh,
junior team.
awesome.
So it was kind of funny. I was like, oh, we're doing this again. Like you know what I mean? He calls me, invites me out. But no, like you said, I mean, pretty much every bit of a dream come true, and putting on the uniform, and learning from Freddie Freeman, of course, one of the greatest first basemen of all time, but apart from him, there's also Cal Quantrill, Tyler O'Neill, a bunch of other guys who've been there and have like so much knowledge to share. So I walked away from it, so much better as a player.
Like, I know you didn't get a lot of time on the field, but just being in that clubhouse must have just been at times a little surreal for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when some of my best friends still, guys I played with in high school. One guy, Denzel, I went to college with. So some of my best friends were in that locker room at this wild, big baseball event with one of the greatest players of all time, and we're just in there being kids. You know what I mean? And we're
Just
like,
being
look,
kids, yeah.
we're looking around. We're like, hey, we gotta be professional here. We can't be joking around this whole time. But it's hard not to, when you got, it's a dream. So
Did you have an experience there that stands out to you that you'll just carry with you? No, whether it would be something someone said to you or just even watching it go down from the bench, whatever it may be.
yeah, I could pinpoint a few things, but I'm gonna highlight when we played Team USA in Arizona at Chase Field. When we're hitting BP, the stadium was already sold out. It was already thousands and thousands of people all around. And I think just that whole like, oh my gosh, like, ESPN cameras everywhere, all the US players are being followed around, and just when the anthems hit and we were on the line, and I felt like I was being swallowed by the noise. I was like, wow, like I'm gonna tell my whatever happens in my career, like I'm gonna tell my kids, my grandkids all about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Awesome.
had to have felt like the closest to a major league experience you've had.
Yeah, that was even Freddie said that this is a playoff World Series like atmosphere right now. Like just from this is a World Series. Like this isn't just big league. So I definitely soaked it all in. It's crazy.
It's interesting because I know that, and I know it's not coming from the players, but American media seems to downplay the importance of that tournament. But you kind of listen to the media and the excitement from around the world. It's a pretty big deal, right? Like you didn't get the feeling while you were there playing in it that this was a lesser tournament, right?
No, absolutely not. And I mean, from the way it was ran too, like it's serious business. It's ran extremely well. And I mean, just listen to what all the like US players are saying about the tournament. They not only had fun with it and took it seriously, but they were big advocates, which I really appreciated. They were really big advocates for how important the tournament is. And I'm all in on the World Baseball Classic. I think it's good for baseball. I think it's good for I think it's good for the growth of the game. It's a really big deal in my book.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, Adam and I are hooked. This was the year too. It's funny that like it took a little while, and I think just all the COVID shit and like, just the fact it got bumped and there just wasn't the excitement. But man, oh man, like just the way that tournament unfolded.
It was sure nice to see Ohtani and Trout finally play like a meaningful baseball game.
Yeah, I mean, and face each other at the end too.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
so,
it was
wow,
pretty cool.
It was
we're getting
storybook
spoiled
stuff.
here.
Out of curiosity, Damiano, I mean, this was pretty intense baseball in March. What was it like to go from that atmosphere and then to New Hampshire to start the AA season?
I mean, I already knew that was gonna be, the case. So I wasn't like, you know what I mean? It didn't like blindside me or anything like
Yeah.
that. But in my opinion, I mean, I was excited. I mean, I just love playing baseball anyways. So like even taking the field when it was really cold and the fans hadn't been making it out yet, rightfully so because it's freezing, stay home, stay warm. Like, but
how cold is New Hampshire in April? Is it worse than Vancouver?
They're about the same.
Okay.
The same. So, it's
It's not Florida.
It's not Florida. No. That's what was the wildest part, is going from Florida to New Hampshire and you were sweating, now you're freezing. But no, it was cool. I like I mean all my, the team that we sent up, I was tight with all of them. So it was just a fun experience to go out there, play ball, and again, like I was doing all this stuff with the World Baseball Classic, but to go out there and do what what I'm actually working towards, it kind of was like a liberating feeling. Like it was kind of like, oh, it's freeing. Like I get to go be myself, and I have some of my best friends playing with me, playing around me, stuff like that. So it's it's fun.
It's kind of interesting because you have moved up the system pretty quickly here. I know you got your first sniff of AA and then your first sniff of AAA this year. And whenever we have guys on the show, man, Vancouver is so highly touted. Guys love it. And I know it's not Bailey Stadium, right? It's high A, and you're having 7,000 people coming out even on Tuesdays, and they're losing their mind. Of course, the Vancouver Canadians just won that Northwest League. Very exciting stuff for them, and I'm sure all the guys there. But you knew all of this because you grew up in Surrey. So it must have been pretty wild June of last year to all of a sudden pull on that Vancouver Canadians jersey. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, that was one of those first big like kind of sit down, let it sink in, let myself get a little emotional kind of thing when I was told that I was pretty much going home. And so like I grew up going to those games, like you said, Tuesdays. To me, I mean, when I was going, it was short season. I mean,
Yeah.
so it was even, you could say, even maybe a little, a little lower on the chain of command as high A, but like you wouldn't, you had no idea. You would think it's the triple A, closest thing to the big leagues, by the fans, the support, the general atmosphere. So getting to go there and putting on the jersey, which I had already, imagined myself putting on
Yeah.
thousands of times as a kid, even in high school, like playing games, just thinking, like when it would get boring, I would just imagine I was at the Nat kind of thing.
I
That
can
was,
imagine
yeah,
that in that debut, you had a bunch of family and friends there too.
I did. My, my family and friends are a huge part of me. And they understood how important it was for me, and they wanted to be out there. And yeah, I gave out a bunch of tickets that day, and it was that day specifically holds like a really, really special place, like in my heart. It was everything that I imagined.
It's so cool you got to experience that, because that's not something every guy gets, right? Is to like put on the jersey of your hometown team. It's crazy.
Yeah. I recognize how blessed I was in that situation. I mean, I every day, that season was incredible. Like every day, waking up, going to the field, knowing like, wow, like this is crazy. I don't want this year to end. But it was, but I'm glad it happened. You know what I mean? I'm grateful for it, and I hope everyone gets to experience something like that in their life.
So I know that you play primarily third base, but you're pretty versatile. You've got time at second and first. And I think over the last year or so, you even have some reps in the outfield. How comfortable are you moving around the diamond defensively? And is the hot corner where you prefer?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've spent a good chunk, like 90% of everything I do at third base, even before professional baseball. So I would say that's the spot I'm most comfortable at, like
Yeah.
most experienced at. But like you said, like a big aspect to me, even before pro, was versatility. So I'm confident in the way I can move and stuff like that. So I do a lot of first and third. That's my primarily, but we do mess around with taking reps in other spots, and when we do so, it's not like, oh, this is funny, like let's see. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna get my work, and I'm gonna try to learn
Yeah.
from
Let's
from
get
the
it
guys who
done.
play here. And if there's anything I can do to bring some I guess like help whatever team I'm on, like I'm all for it.
It's so wild how versatility has become such a huge asset to baseball players. It never used to be that way, man. Like I remember when I played, it was like, Scott, you're second base and you're second base forever, right? Like it's just
Yeah.
and it's just like now every guy out there, man, can play a couple positions. It's pretty wild. Do you feel comfortable when you're playing first base? Like, is there a comfort level there around the diamond? I know third base is primarily where you're at.
Yeah, absolutely. First base is, I would put it just in the same category as third
Yeah.
base, of comfort. Like I've actually been playing mostly first base here in Buffalo, and it's been awesome. It's been like I go, I know I'm playing first that day, so I take all my reps there, I work there, and then I analyze it after the game with our development staff, and it's like I feel like I feel already like I've been playing first all year, but it's only been a couple weeks kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it's I think versatility is huge, and if you're just confident in your athleticism, like you're gonna be fine.
Just opens up more opportunities for you, right?
Yeah, more opportunities for you, and also to help the team,
Yeah.
succeed. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a win-win.
So, Damiano, I want to talk a little bit about Venezuela and just the fact that that is where you were born. And curious when your parents made the move to Canada. And do you still have family in Venezuela? Like, do you ever get back there?
Yeah. So yeah, we're from Venezuela, and we immigrated into Canada. So in '05, so I was 5 years old. So My parents probably made that decision probably close to that year, early in that year. They just wanted to, me and my sister, they wanted us to have as much opportunity for growth in whatever aspect we wanted to do, whether it was, school, sports, anything to branch out, you know what I mean? We went to Canada, and I still have on my dad's side, I still have aunts, uncles in Venezuela, and then on my mom's side, I still have some aunts, uncles, and cousins. But a lot of our family has actually started to move to Canada in the same neighborhood as us. So it's actually pretty
awesome.
It's pretty nice to have my aunts and uncles and cousins living right across the street, and we're always together. So it's
awesome.
It's special.
Do you speak Italian and Spanish? Like, are you just trilingual?
No, not Italian.
No.
Not just Spanish.
Just Spanish.
Grew up speaking Spanish, still speak Spanish at the house, with my parents, with my family, and obviously with my teammates most of the time too. So
yeah, of course, I'm sure it's a big help there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not only a big help for them to be able to translate for them and stuff like that, but also like to get to really get to know
of
a
course.
lot of it. Like, I feel like I know everyone really well, the English speaking guys, Spanish speaking guys. I feel like I can actually like identify with them really well. So
that's cool. You're a connector then, eh?
I would say so. Or sometimes just a translator, but
yeah, sometimes just a translator. I like that, man.
Yeah.
So I know we talked a little bit about the fact that all three of us have that Alberta tie. Tell me a little bit about the Vauxhall Academy, what your experience was like there, and if you still have friends from that system around. I know that, was Adam Macko there when you were there? Really?
Yep.
That's wild.
Yep. Roommates and everything.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that. Crazy.
Yeah.
Very cool.
No, so
small world.
Yeah, it is crazy. He's one of my, another guy that I grew up with playing baseball that just, we're always going to be in touch. When he was with the Mariners.
Was it pretty exciting for you when it came out that he was involved in the Teoscar trade? Yeah. Oh, that's
selfishly,
cool, man.
I wanted to reach out to him right away and start talking to him and be like, oh, we're going to do this and this. We're going to get in Florida, and we're going to, like, I'll text the room person, like, we can room together. You know what I mean? But I was like, I need to give him some time. I bet he's getting blown up. I also want him to feel comfortable, so, but he's a great guy. I learned a lot from him. Just kind of like, attention to detail, focus on your work, kind of stuff like that when we were in high school.
Big part of that Canadians championship this year too. He pitched amazing the last couple of months here.
Yeah. And it's not surprising at all. I mean, he's like that. He's gross. He's had I think he's had earlier in his career battled with some injuries, and he's really starting to like evolve into who he is now. And we're gonna, I think Blue Jays fans should be really excited to see what Adam Macko is going to become, because he's special, in my opinion, and I think in everyone else's. So yeah.
Shout out Adam. To see it. So you were actually drafted, and what's funny about the fact that you were drafted by the Blue Jays is you were drafted by the Blue Jays twice, which let's start with 2018. You get out of high school. You're drafted by the Jays in the 35th round. You choose to go to college rather than start your pro career. Obviously getting drafted, very exciting. And there was a lot of decision-making to be made there. What swayed you to go back to college?
Yeah. I mean, just going through that senior year, you're obviously talking with scouts, and they're trying to get a feel for your signability and all that. And I felt like I was like, given the right opportunity, I would likely sign. And as came to draft day, and those conversations started kind of unfolding a little bit, and so I kind of was taken kind of, in the 35th round of 40 by the Jays, which, it was the Jays, which made it really difficult, because I was like, man, all right, whatever, screw the plan. We're going, we're going to the Jays.
That would be tempting.
it was extremely tempting, and not just because of the team, but also because of, you know, the scout I was talking to, the coordinators, you know, just great people, always make me feel welcome. But, you know, ultimately that was the decision. It was like, I appreciate the you know, I appreciate the selection, but you know, what I feel is going to be best for my career is to go back to school, develop these next few years in college, and then come into the system in a possibly better opportunity.
Looking back, you still feel good about that decision?
Absolutely.
Love to
Absolutely.
hear that, man.
I
Love to
think,
hear that.
you know,
Incredibly enough, too, you re-entered the draft in 2021, and you just wind up being taken by the Blue Jays again, which is absolutely like the luck of that happening, you know, going in the 14th round. Obviously, the Jays were in touch. Like, did you know you were going to the Jays, or was it still a question mark there?
it was I mean, this second draft, this was like way more serious. This was, you know, talking to all the teams, you know,
Yeah.
having my agent involved and everything. So we knew, you know, we knew it was going to be someone, but we didn't know exactly who. There was a bunch of teams in the mix, and the Jays were one of them that we would talk to. And I would, whenever we would like get off the phone with them, whatever, I'd look at my agent, I'd go like, man, I really hope I was like, I really hope they send it again. Like, I'm like, I want it to be them. You know, I just, all this
I
magic
love that,
number
man.
stuff we
I
talk
love that.
about.
So you were a Jays fan your whole life.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's, you know, coming into Canada as a young kid and getting into baseball in Canada. You know, that's the first experience with baseball is the Blue Jays, even when they wore the black uniforms, and, you know, Aaron Hill was playing second base. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's just me and my dad watching Blue Jays, you know, Blue Jays Central at 4 o'clock, you know, like so
I'm
Dude,
gonna jump in here
you're
because
yeah.
this is one of our listener questions that we have, so it just ties right in here. So from Jillian, she says, "Okay, growing up in Canada, is it extra cool to be in the Blue Jays organization, or like 50% of Western Canadian kids, did you grow up a Mariners fan?" So
that's a really good question, because yeah, I am a Blue Jays fan. That's my loyalties with them always, even before, you know, I was employed by them. But
Yeah,
it's
okay.
but it is extra special. Every part of it has a little bit more of that value to me personally. But that's a great question, because the Mariners were the team that I could go actually watch. So I did have some Mariner hats too. But, you know, if they played each other, I would be wearing blue, if that
good
answers your
answer.
question.
Good
Yeah.
answer.
Great answer.
Yeah.
With AAA coming to an end, how do you plan to spend your off season? Are you a guy that in the off season you try and shut it right down for a month and just not think baseball, or is there no such thing as a real shutdown?
No, there has to be a shutdown. For, you know, for some
Let your body
guys.
recover, right?
Exactly, and your mind too. And,
Yeah.
but I think guys will debate over what they think is enough, what they think is too short of a break. But I usually give myself, like, it's like a solid 2 weeks. Once everything is done, like a solid 2 weeks of, you know, kind of going to bed whenever I want, waking up whenever I want, saying yes to whatever I'm invited out to do, helping around the home, helping around, you know, with, you know, my girlfriend if she need anything, kind of stuff like that. Just kind of being like, kind of, you know, just floating around, stress free, and not, you know, not worrying about, oh, like, what's my lift today, or who am I
Yeah.
facing on the mound. Like, it's kind of just like, and then, you know, let my brain almost just chill, and
Is
then we
is
slowly
your
start to ramp up.
is your girl a planner? Does she already have all your free time mapped out for you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
I wake up and ask her, so what am I doing today? And she's like, so you're gonna no, but she's a great planner, because I'm a procrastinator, and so it works perfectly.
That's awesome, buddy. So I mean, it's funny, Venezuela, like no wonders you grew up in a baseball family. What was it that got you into baseball? Was your dad always a fan?
Yeah, my dad
Yeah.
was always a fan. He fan of baseball period in the Venezuelan leagues, the major leagues. He just was really in tune with it. So yeah, I played a lot of sports growing up. He also, pushed me to play soccer and basketball and all that. But he could see how much I like baseball, and he was, I think he's kind of glad, because I think he likes it the most too. So
That's all right.
Love to hear it. Okay, so before we throw to Adam, I know he's got a listener question or two more for you here, but I'm going to name some things, okay? And you just rank that thing between 1 and 10, 1 being you're not a fan, 10 being you love said thing. I know it's an incredibly difficult and complicated scoring system, but do you feel you got it? Yeah?
I got it.
All right.
I got it.
Okay, let's start with a Canadian classic here. Poutine.
1.
Oh, you're not a fan of poutine.
Wow.
Yep. I hope I don't get my citizenship
I was just
revoked,
gonna
but-
say, pull it.
No.
Okay,
but,
are you a gravy guy?
that's what I was about to say. It's the gravy. I mean, I'm not a big gravy guy. I like
Gravy
fries.
guy.
I like cheese curds. I like bacon, but the gravy kind of throws it off. So
Okay.
So unfortunately for me personally, it's a 1. I know people love it. I'm sure it's delicious to them.
Damiano,
It's a
that
1.
is the lowest we've had poutine ranked. So you take the cake here as the
And what am I like
as the
how many
Canadian.
Canadians have you interviewed?
Okay. Let's see how much Berta you got in you here. Country music.
Oh my gosh. There's a big variety in like the songs I like and the songs I don't like, but I'm gonna go 6. It's a 6.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you're not opposed to country, but it needs to be the right kind. I like it.
Right. Immediately I was thinking of saying 1 again, but that's just
I
not
could
true.
see it in
That's
your
just
eyes.
that.
I knew you were trying to find a way out of like, how do I not say 1 again?
No, but that would have just been a lie, because there are some bangers out there that I actually
All right.
really like.
Okay, you spent enough time on the prairies, you probably can answer this. Pilsner.
That's probably a 9. That one's a 9.
Okay, there you go. There. Canadian citizen.
Good Canadian
returned.
boy.
There
Yeah,
you go. Okay, Game of Thrones.
1. Haven't watched it.
Haven't watched it. Okay.
Too many episodes for me to catch up on, and I've already heard the last season kind of ruins
See, and
it. So.
that's the thing, right? Like if you didn't get into it when it was on, I mean, it's almost impossible to go back now. You already know everything that happens.
Right, but I do revisit shows that are kind of old, so maybe at some point I'll get to it, but depends how bored I am.
There you go. What are you watching right now?
Winning Time.
Nice. Me too.
Yeah.
Season 2. Love
What's
it.
Winning
All
Time?
right.
I haven't heard of this.
It's actually great. So John C. Reilly plays the owner of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Okay,
back
I
in the
have heard
70s
of
and
this.
80s and
Yes,
building that
okay.
dynasty. Yeah, so it's
Okay.
pretty cool.
I'm gonna add that to my
Yeah.
list then. Okay, gotcha.
Okay. Hockey.
Hockey is I'm gonna go 7, because I love the sport, but I've been a bad fan as of recent years. I don't know as many players as I used to know. I don't really know the trade talks. I don't, you know what I mean? So I've been a bad
Were the
fan,
Canucks
but
were the Canucks your
g-
team when you were following?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say
That was
you're
my
from
team.
BC. All they have is bad fans, so you fit right in.
Hey,
Uh,
I'm one of them, so I can't be offended.
There you go. Okay, Damiano. Last one before we throw it at him for listener questions here. Jose Batista.
Jose Bautista is a 10. He's
There you go.
An 11.
At 11. Let's up the
yeah.
scale.
Yeah, he's right-handed hitter, Blue Jays, homers, massive leg kick that I tried to copy when I was a kid, and it got me into a lot of trouble. But
I can imagine that 50 home run season he had was right when you were like in prime kid baseball loving mode, right?
Yeah, it was him. Yeah, absolutely. He was, like I said, like I actually think I can blame Jose Bautista for like probably hindering my development a little bit just because I was, and Josh Donaldson too. I was just trying to kick my
Yeah.
leg up as high as I can and hit
Yeah.
homers, and that's not.
You're like,
they
more
know what they're
moving
doing.
parts. We need more moving
Exactly.
parts.
Yeah. As they throw harder, if I move more, it should get easier, right?
Yeah, that works out.
But
Honestly,
yeah.
Damiano, thank you so much for taking the time to join us, buddy. I've had such an we've enjoyed
It's
this
been
talk
great.
a lot, man, and hope we can twist your arm and have you back here. We'll throw to Adam here. I know he's got a question or two
one
from
more.
listeners.
Yeah.
One more, and we'll let you go.
Awesome.
Okay, so Chris says, did you see at the Little League Classic this year the hilarious bats that were used? Bryson Stott's pencil, Bryce Harper's Philly Fanatic, the crayons, and so many other artistic paint jobs. And if you did see it, is that something you like to see more of in Major League Baseball regularly, like goalies with their painted masks in the NHL?
Yeah, that's a good question. I did see it. I saw. I've been seeing it. They had it in the last few, players weekends and stuff like that. It's super cool. It's awesome. I think it's. Yes, I would agree with you. I would love to see it more. I would just say, like, I know that some of the bat specs that we are allowed to have paint wise are for the catcher's safety, so that he doesn't, see a flashing neon bat in front of him as he's trying to catch a fastball. So
that's fair. That's a good point. Never thought of that.
I'm not a catcher, so I don't know exactly how much that really bothers. I don't know if that's actually like a thing. That's just what I've heard. But if in a perfect world, if it doesn't throw him off and it doesn't ruin the woods, like the density of the wood, then absolutely, I think that would be so cool. Like super personalized bats.
Yeah.
Like
for the kids
lightsaber
too
or
watching the
something?
game, right?
Yeah, I'm all in on that. I'm a 10 on that.
Okay, there you
go. Yeah.
Okay, Damiano, thanks again, man. We really do appreciate your time. All the best with the final few remaining games you got in AAA. Enjoy your off season, and let's do it again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me again.
All right, cheers. Take care.